For people that want to be travel writers, let's say they don't have anything in print yet, they don't even have a blog yet, what's your suggestion to them at that moment in their life?
Well, if they don't have a blog, then get one. And if you don't have that, at least a Facebook page. Just be out there. Like you were asking, do I write every day? I think if you can get out there, not every day, but consistently. So if you say, well, I'm gonna always publish on Thursdays, get a paragraph a week out on Thursdays. There's a lot of content in the world that overwhelms people. And you can work really hard and realize a lot of folks aren't reading anything you're doing, no matter how good it is. But if you can come up with a discipline and a consistency, it's at the very least, it's gonna make your writing better. And then when the time comes to meet with a publisher or get somebody to be interested, now you're gonna have a backlog of things that you've written, and now you can narrow it down and pull your best pieces and really look great. But it's a muscle. It's something you got to exercise. And there's always that self-editor that's constantly popping back in and saying, oh, don't tell it that way. A lot of times I used to get hung up on how do I start it? How do I kick it off to get everybody's interest? And what I realized is don't write it, and then in the end I can usually go back through and be like, this is the part that's going to grab them, and I'll shift entire paragraphs around or take things out. So I don't try to make it a start to finish story on even the first, second, or third draft. And it's made the amount of writing I have to do now come a lot easier. But I probably spend 3/4 of my time editing, and I crank the first draft out. I've had days where I've sat for 6, 7, 8 hours just tweaking 1,800 words until I really felt like the story, you stripped everything away, and it's the story kind of comes out on the page. Stephen King wrote a great book about writing. 2 things specifically in there. He said, get rid of adverbs. So as soon as I did that, my writing got cleaned up, and it made it easier to actually write to the content, since you have to usually write to a number of words. The other thing was just to keep writing, and I was constantly self-editing while I wrote. If you're writing on a computer, you can constantly be tweaking and tweaking, and I had to get to the point and said, just write 8,000 words when you know it's going to be 1,500, and then go back and edit it, then figure out where the story is. Just type and let the story kind of come out, rather than trying to force it sentence by sentence. That was a big shift for me.